What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 685. 15 episodes away from 700. I'm going to join the 700 club. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. TikTok, you know I love you. You know I love TikTok, especially when they don't restrict my lives. I love you guys. Really do. 700. I just noticed that. 700, approaching 700. We got Landy backstage. He's eating some Snickers bars. And I only noticed yesterday as I did replay the show. Because at the end, I went absolutely ape shit. So I did review the show. And then I looked at the comments. And I saw I don't know if it was Fran that was putting the comments in there or it was somebody else. But I was talking about Jews. I was talking about religion, I think. Jews or Christians and Catholics. And I guess because of where I'm from. Shout out to Brooklyn, BK. I guess I might have said Catholics. Is that? And so I didn't get it. I seen the comment yesterday, but then I'm watching the show. I didn't watch the whole show, but I replayed that part of the show, and I see the comment. I'm like, oh shit, I did say that. Anyway, I did say it. It's kind of funny too. I was like Stone Cold Steve Austin yesterday, the way I was approaching shit. Fran, I know. Hey, Fran, I'm like, I'm looking at the comments and I see cat lick, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then I hear myself say cat lick, and I'm like, oh, got it. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We speak. You know what I'm saying? We speak coffee. I mean, Boston says it worse than us, but I'm just saying, this accent that we have. I'm just saying. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Shout out to the sponsor, Midnight, Charles, Midnight, the entire crew. Big things happening for Midnight. Big things happening for Midnight. End of the month, big things happening. We'll talk about that. I guess I could talk about that on Friday. Big things happening. Privacy matters. Go to midnight.net. Work to go ahead and find out more information about the Midnight Protocol. Also, shout out to Cake Wallet, Vic and the team at Cake Wallet. Real good people, of course. Vic, Seth, and all them guys. Really good people building a really good secure wallet. Okay? Building really good stuff. I like them. I'm not just saying that because they're the sponsors. I've been talking to Vic for a very long time. Also, shout out to Polymarket. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the breakdown and also the DG brand. I like what I see. Yes, I do like what I see. I'm fucking drop dead gorgeous. Look at that. Fuck. Also, shout out to our newest sponsor here, People's Reserve. That's right. No longer do you have to sell your collateral, and that means Bitcoin. You can use it. Go to peoplesreserve.com. Talked about that 2 days ago on Monday. Talked about it. Go ahead and replay it. Maybe I'll talk about it again. Who knows? Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. I've already said that 3 times. People are looking at my eyebrows. They're like, yo, them shit's on. And this is natural. I don't pluck. I don't do none of that bullshit. Shout out to the people that tune in from Getter. I want to give a shout out to people on Getter because there are actually some really cool influencers on Getter, political influencers that retweet my show. So thank you so much. We don't even know each other, but they retweet my show. So thank you. Or reshare, I should say. Reshare the show. And now I am on Getter, and I am one of the popular shows on Getter. A lot of you guys might have not heard of Getter. Getter does numbers. Getter does numbers. And I want to getter those numbers, okay? I want to get them there. I want to get them numbers. Anyway, let's bring Landy in, right? You guys want, people are laughing. Sometimes you can't be looking at the comments. I can't be looking at the comments. And by the way, I don't know what's happening with Twitter. I try to come on here early. Twitter's all fucked up. That's what I'm calling it. By the way, can I say something before Landy comes on? Bad move. Horrific move on Twitter's part with the dislike button. Bad move. Absolute shitty move. You just gave the ultimate weapon to the trolls. You've given every single troll the ultimate fucking weapon to... You have weaponized Twitter against your good content / media / notable figures on your platform. Because all they're going to do is report us, dislike it, send us to the back. Stop trying to turn this place into Reddit. Okay? If we wanted to go on Reddit, we'd be on Reddit. We're on Twitter, man. Twitter's supposed to be, and I don't care, I'm not calling it X. Twitter's supposed to be quick thoughts. That's it. No fucking novels and essays. It's breaking news. That's all I got to say about that. I'm telling you, that dislike button's gonna be crazy. Anyway, let's bring in the legendary astrology artist, Landy. No, I'm just kidding. It's the legendary TA champ.
Good morning, David.
some fun with Landy. Landy fucking disrespects me all the time, so I can have some fun with him.
Hey, I don't, it's no disrespect. I'm just so good at reading markets that I have to, sometimes just to, kind of
There we go.
show some facts and
There we go.
present my case. That's all.
Here we go. Go ahead. Just take 30 minutes to gloat.
No, actually, I don't even need 30 minutes. I'm gonna gloat right away.
Oh my God.
You might recall
Oh my God.
yesterday, I made a fairly lengthy point about watching oil and oil staying above 90 for WTI. In this case, it's at a higher level on Brent, but watch oil as it relates to the US dollar because the US dollar will move with oil, or Dixie in this case. If you're looking for the US dollar versus a basket of fiat currencies. And we're seeing that strength come back. And with strength coming back into oil holding above specifically 90 to 95, that does give oil a chance to test up a little bit further. I've been looking for about 105. And if we do see a break above there, I'd be looking for a run of the highs again. So 105 is by an upper second standard deviation. And when we get a big volatile move, usually when we see a move back to the upper second, that's a rejective zone or a reversal zone. But if it doesn't stop there, we can start looking back to the highs now. The upper third is there right in the big overhead resistance between 115 and 130. And, as long as it's trading above 90 to 95, and especially closing above 95 as a support, then that becomes, the area of interest to the downside. So, if we do start seeing 105 break, especially on daily closes, we're likely going to see, the highs get run. 110 to 115 is fair game. Anywhere inside of this daily wick or swing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, price moving into the area to grab liquidity from this swing high. But it's all about closing above there to get continuation further up. So even if it does make it to this macro overhead resistance at 115 to 130, which again, this is WTI, so it's going to look a little bit different than something like Brent or different oil futures overseas. So, I'm tracking this. It's going to be a little bit more closely aligned with the United States pricing. Now, this could, it could run this area, this 115 to 130, and it wouldn't be a big surprise. I would still be looking out for a major rejection and a larger term time frame high to be put in. That remains to be seen. If we do see the low of today dropped, so right around 90 to 91.15 per barrel, I would be looking mid to low 80s from there. Basis band is settling in and around there, and realistically still above this low here. It would have a chance to kind of consolidate, and that low is at 75 to 76 bucks a barrel. But if that's dropped, this is likely to come right back down to 68 to 70 on the top side of this macro support down here. And this was the giveaway many months ago when we came down and started finding this area as support down here. And I'll get rid of the mess of bands here just so we can see price a little bit clearer. But this is the weekly, and there's no high to be put in yet. We would have to see. I'd like to see where this week closes, and then next week is where we'd either see, a move back to the highs or a high put in. Likely a high would be put in anywhere below this week's low. If this ends up being the low at the 91.45, that would be the criteria to look for next week. But this is a macro area of interest since March into April of 2025. We found this area as macro support going, and this is a support coming all the way back from 2021. So, and this is longer term time frame support. So we didn't even close below this. So we closed above it. This was an area of interest off of the major rundown in 2020 coming off the lows, the first major sell-off candle kind of defined this low on the monthly at around this 57.30. It's going to be a little bit different, but same area for Brent. We didn't get any closes below this to indicate that we were going to break down further. And, we even closed right on it before the nice move up. This is a longer term time frame trend break. So even if we do see this come back down, I would expect oil levels per barrel, at least pricing, to stay relatively elevated. The big thing here is there's a lot of talk about these extremely high prices for oil. And while that is definitely technically true for a longer term breakout, which I've been looking for since we hit the macro support last year and then put in a lower high very close to the deviation range swing high there at $78. I've been kind of looking for it. It was just a matter of what's going to kick it off. We held support December coming into January as things kind of were heating up in the Middle East, and now we've gotten that breakout. But oil is very sensitive to supply disruptions, right? And that also means that if there is some resolution to those supply disruptions, oil can actually be forced down very quickly through various measures by getting that flow going again. And we have Saudi Arabia is utilizing their pipeline to the west to actually pump the most amount of oil that they have in a very long time. They started building that about like 30, 40 years ago. But the problem right now is it has a max capacity for how much the line can actually push through. So instead of having ships go to the Strait to actually get pick up oil and load there, they're going to the west by the Red Sea. But that pipeline has a max capacity for how much per day, and I think it's 7 million barrels per day. But the actual pipeline can only deliver about 5.5 million. So there's a lot building up in terms of storage or reserves there because there's only so much that they can push through that pipeline, which is, and it's a longer trip for a lot of ships to take, which, costs more money. Insurance premiums are still high, even though the US is now involved and providing, going to be providing escorts, the war insurance side and the reinsurance side is still going to remain elevated for a while. So that's going to keep, oil pretty hot, even after things if, things settle down, whenever that may be. So, I would keep an eye on oil. Whenever you see oil really, doing well, you're going to see Dixie doing well. And we have Dixie looking like it wants to form a macro low as well, just like what oil did. Bottomed out last year, came down a retest, got a swing below, and now it's trying to recover a major area overhead. I have lower term time frame support and resistance on here, but it's not too much different. Swinging above the 140-cent region, and then finding support in this area of interest right now is going to be realistically what we need to watch. If this high holds, or if we get a higher low here around the 99.47, 99.50 area, I would be watching this to come back up and possibly spike 101 to 102 as the next big area. And that would mean that oil is likely pushing higher back to its highs. But the move is extended on the daily, and I wouldn't rule out corrections from here for Dixie. And by virtue of that fact, we would be seeing oil correct. And I think we're not too far away from, a daily correction to consolidation at minimum for oil coming up here in the near term. And, this is likely you'll hear things like, oh, well, this aligns with the Defense Production Act and like the Jones Act and like all this stuff kind of like realigning to allow for more free flowing oil. What many need to understand about that market is it's a very short path through the Strait of Hormuz. And now countries are becoming very, very aware of, the single point of failure especially in countries like Japan and South Korea and China, and like this is not a good thing for them when you have a single point of failure. But so do Western nations, right? This affects Western nations in Europe as well, and this is where there's even with Saudi Arabia, if even if they can increase capacity of that pipeline that they've had running to the Red Sea, if there was some way to store more on site, maybe they get some more silos up, they store more there for storage tanks, and then that way they don't get as backed up in terms of what they can deliver, and some more routes out to fill ships. It still creates a longer journey, which increases shipping costs, right? So, I do suspect that we will see some resolution, or some positive news, and the way that you can gauge when that positive news is gonna start, coming across the timelines or headlines is wherever we see this start to correct from, right? So we had the initial correction and sell-off. We had the nice move back up. Looks very much like, on the weekly time frame, looks very much like what commodities were doing, right? And then, in terms of gold and silver with the big moves up and then the giant big moves down. We had that kind of all in one daily candle, and now it's coming back to hunt the highs on speculation and reality. Um, and it's really about, does it break down from here, or do we get to continue to retest higher? So what I'm going to be watching and paying very close attention to is the 105 region on WTI specifically, for those that are keeping track. You can pick out the relevant areas of support and resistance for whatever your favorite ticker is to watch, whether it's Brent, WTI, or different oil futures markets and different markets. You're going to see very similar, in some cases more severe, upside because of the situations overseas if you're here in the United States. But for WTI, 105 is the area that I'm watching to the upside. We can swing it and even hit like 110, but it's about closes. If we start to see closes above there, the highs are back in play to the overhead resistance. And to the downside, what we would be looking for is any closes below this daily low that we got in today, in the 9145, 9150 region. But realistically, getting below there, we would also need to see some closes, not just swings, but closes below around the $90 per barrel region in order to see that correction down. Now, if we see that correction down, look for the news, because money moves before the news. And yes, oil can react to the news very, very quickly. It is a very highly sensitive asset in that regard. But if you start seeing this come down more aggressively and correct back to the mean somewhere in the 80 to 85 region, just pay attention to the news. You'll likely then be able to gauge any kind of sustainability back to the upside, or if we're going to get some, we can start projecting out into the future if we're going to get some more relief in oil where it starts to come back to the downside, even further, below the $80 region to, that 75 to 76 region. What does that mean for things like cryptocurrencies? Well, when you have a strengthening dollar, like I said, you're going to see traditional markets sell off right back to the lows that they were at, possibly even more if this continues this way. But you also see it in something like Bitcoin that is coming back down to a major area of interest and a big support zone that it needs, or a big resistance zone that it needs to flip into support. We did find some daily support around 70,500 here. And I mentioned yesterday, this is kind of the warning, 70 to 72. You can just call it 70 to 72. If it gets below there, it needs to hold around 68 to $69,000. If it loses between 68 and 69, obviously one of those being the prior cycle high, then we're looking right back to the bottom side of the range here. You can obviously take the top side of that range low area, around the 65 to the higher low here at 65 and a half or so on the swing. But if we start to see that area fall apart for Bitcoin, it's right back to the actual lows down to 65 to 62 and a half for a retest. Anywhere below there, 58 to 60 for a test of the actual swing low. Watch oil,
Ladies and gentlemen,
watch Dixie.
watch oil. I just want to say, everybody, welcome to the breakdown. This is Landy's gloating tour. He's on the gloating tour.
It's the Qualded tour.
The what?
The Qualded. So this is a little bit of a joke from another friend of mine that's from New York. She's frequently on Spaces. Shout out to Nat. And she says called it as like kind of a joke. It's a little bit of an inside joke on one of the Spaces, but she's got that accent, so it's Qualded.
Coffee. We're from the north. The Northeast is different, man, with the accents, man. The Northeast is just a different place, man. But welcome to episode 685. We got Landy here. He's breaking down the markets. You can catch Landy here every single day, as long as we start the show on time, and that's on me, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as he goes ahead and breaks down the markets for 15 to 20 minutes. Also, catch Landy breaking down markets Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as he gloats in his videos about how great he is. Landy, let's look at some other things, because
Sure.
there are people have been, and I'm sure people have reached out to you, but people have been asking me, hey, can you guys chart some of these other assets besides Bitcoin? We get Bitcoin, we get it.
Yep.
Like, this is the response that I get. We get it. Can you go ahead and chart like Hedera, Algorand, Cardano? Like, they start throwing. I have a list of things that they've thrown at me. Which one do you want to go after? Let's satisfy the people, Landy.
Let's go take a look at midnight, actually, because we can take a look at the night token. And this is something that I've wanted to look at here anyway. And I'm trying to find, I thought there was a longer term chart here for the night token, but I believe I'd have to go look at we'll just go through and take a look at Kraken. I think see what history they have versus some of these others here. OKX, do they have longer history? Just a little bit different chart between Kraken and OKX. I think Bybit's about the same, because I'm just looking to see where they had launched first. It was about the same time, so we're about equal history here. So I'm gonna go and we'll take a look at night on see what Binance has. Yeah, they're all around the same. It just matters like what time on the day that they started listing that they actually got the listing up. But we can, instead of going here, we will say we'll go with the actual pair here. One of the things that Night had and has still ongoing, I believe, the Glacier drop, right? Which people from Bitcoin and Ethereum were also, and Solana and many other networks were also eligible for, and I believe might still be. I'd have to go double check. But that distribution of the Glacier drop, very kind to many, especially if you had Cardano. It's now headed back to the lows, and it's really just in a consolidation. So right now, I'm going to be eyeing this myself personally around where it kind of closed after first launching to the actual shorter term low that was put in between 4 cents, 4.1 cents and 4.3 cents. And because I got part of this drop. So as a long time Cardano holder, Bitcoin holder, and Ethereum holder, so I got quite a bit, and it was actually it was cool. I'm a fan of that type of reward, rewards to other people to come participate and check things out. Now, one of the keys that I'm going to be looking for Night token, because this is actually a request that I got yesterday, and I think I mentioned it, is that around the 4.1 to 4.3 cents, I'm going to start looking at if the current lows fail. And to the upside, I'm going to keep an eye on any breaks back to the upside above 5.45 cents. to come back up and test the deeper 5 to 6 cent region and maybe even try for higher. But I'm going to be keeping this low zone of interest on the chart for the future here, and I'm going to be watching it very carefully if we start dropping 4.5 cents here on the low. So if we drop 4.5 cents, I'm going to keep an eye on that 4 cent region and start hunting value for myself personally, which kind of brings us to, what does Cardano look like um, in relation to something like Night Token? Well, Cardano is going to look exactly like the rest of the industry. It's a consolidation. Now, it didn't get the same type of breakout that we saw in Bitcoin, for instance, to the top side of a range. It just went and hit the top side of the range here. So really, realistically, looking for closes above 29 to 30 cents to start looking to the mid 30 cent region, which is mid to low 30 cent region at 32 to 33 cents on the lows here, and then kind of around the 30. Excuse me. Apparently I'm going to hit puberty again.
It
And then
sounds like it.
I know, right? But realistically, like mid 30 cent region is what I'd be looking for, as long as it's trading and holding closes above on the daily, specifically above, you know, 24.5 cents or so on the lows here, right around where the actual daily close open low is. If it drops that, I'm looking down to, 20 to 22 cents for that. Things like algo, like we're talking dinosaur coins, right? Algo looks exactly the same. It's literally in the same area as something like a Cardano. Every single solitary major alt is doing the same thing in relation to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's obviously leading. Bitcoin dominance taking over on the upside move as well. But algo, same kind of thing. 9 to 10 cent region needs to break to start testing 11 to 12, and possibly bringing in, the 12 and a half to 15 cent region overhead. Otherwise, you got to pay attention to the lows here. And specifically, a little bit different look. It actually closed near its low that it originally spiked around the 8 cent region, and it needs to hold that to the downside, or else more downside is in store. So realistically, 9.5 to 10 cents need to see closes above on the daily. It did get a downtrend break. So did ADA. Looking at stuff like Ethereum, Ethereum is doing exactly kind of like what Bitcoin did. It broke the range highs and has come up for a higher high. And 2500s in the cards if it can hold this structure here, but it needs to hold 1911, 1900 area to the downside. I'll be honest, anywhere below 2K, it's going to be retesting the range lows over here. So realistically, if you're looking for this to head further up and retest the highs and higher, you need to see Ethereum hold $2,000. Solana's looking exactly the same. I actually have this because I've been actively trading Solana on perps, and on perp dexes and sexes. And this is where, very similar look, got closer to its overhead resistance at 98 to 103.50 here, but right back down into the range here. It's very close to an area that it needs to hold, but 84.34 is the area that it specifically needs to hold to prevent running this last low side structure, which was a lower low close with a higher low swing. Anywhere below $80, this is falling apart back to the lows and maybe even swinging this low down here. Below $80, Solana looks like crap, to be honest, because it's got a long way to fill that wick. It really does. Like from a technical standpoint,
Where do you think Solana goes from here?
down.
Like how much? How down?
I think that it's more, even if it pushes higher into the 100, 110 region, or maybe even gets really aggressive and spikes into the 120s. Like even if that would require Bitcoin to also move to the upside and test overhead resistance 78 to 80, and maybe even above 80 to the mid to low 80s, you could see Solana breaking through 103 to 110 and possibly even more, 115 to 120. But I think all of that's going to get rejected. I think we find Solana back to its lows around 78 to 80. And then if it drops the mid 70s down here, it's going to go test the lows. It's going for 70 and mid 60s very, very quickly thereafter, because that would be a compression or consolidation to a breakdown. Or if it gets expansion up, it'd be mean reversion. And while it would have a chance here, I think longer term charts and timeframes would point to further down.
So there's no
But it,
possibility that it can. Is there any possibility that it doesn't go into that area and it just goes back to its all-time highs?
no, not from here. I highly
Okay.
doubt that.
So you
Here's
think
why.
it's back to 60?
I think that it's going to retest, at least the $70 region.
Okay.
Its last lower high in the weekly is at $150, right? And unless we see that break, it's still a downtrend, right? It's a downtrend in progress. You can see that from the weekly here on the downside, it's got a chance, right? But this is going to all depend on Bitcoin. So if Solana's going to do a trend break and Ethereum's going to do a trend break and all these coins do a trend break, all you have to do is look at Bitcoin. It would need to close above $98,000 from here as it stands right now until we see another lower high that's closer. That's where the things change. Right now, the outlook is to the downside. We're looking mid 60s to the $70 region. If we see this range break down below around the 78 to 80 and start losing 75, we're looking at the mid 60s to $70, probably pretty quickly. To the upside, 115 is fair game if it wants to get, if it can get through the 102, 103 and start pushing 110. It's immediately 115 and a swing above there to 120, maybe even 125 is in the cards. You can see that there's swings right around this 200 period simple moving average with the 20 period under it now. Much like Bitcoin, I think that the way that things are shaping up now, and this doesn't mean that it's going to play out like this, but the way that things are shaping up right now with something like Bitcoin, I think that it needs one more shot to the downside for Bitcoin on the weekly. I think it's more highly likely that we see a lower high, whether it's this high from this week at 76K, or it comes in higher. I think we see another lower high and we see a shot lower. And I think that is where we start to build out the bullish divergences on something like a weekly. We sweep the lows, grab liquidity, and then I think that could start to give us the indication that we could be pulling out the other side on any trend breaks. For instance, I'm going to turn off.
I want to ask you this, and I don't mean to. I hate cutting people off. I'm
No, you're
sorry, and
good.
I apologize.
Do it.
But I just don't want to lose my train of thought here. I've seen a lot of people that are charting, and obviously, I hold you in high regard. They're saying that this is the bounce. Right now that we're experiencing the same thing we experienced when Bitcoin went to 15.5. What are your thoughts on that?
No, they're wrong. My thoughts, they're wrong. And they're not, unless they are saying like this is the precursor to what we saw in the run to 15.5 for Bitcoin, then they'd be correct. But if they're saying this is the 15.5 bounce, no, this is not.
Yeah,
There's no bullish
that's what
divergences.
that's what
There's
I've been seeing. Look, I talked to you on Monday, and I told you that I feel like it's going to go up, and then we have this, we go downwards, and then we pop from there. That's my feeling.
That would
But
be that's a
I've been
lower
looking.
high, sweep the
Yeah.
lows, and then take out the lower high.
But
That's-
then, like, you have these people that are saying, like, we hit bottom, and this is, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm gonna talk to Landy about this.
I mean,
We'll go ahead and chat it up.
from a structural point of view, it's very easy to validate if they're going to be right or wrong, right? If it breaks above $98,000 and closes, great. They were probably right. They were right in that case because
so in order for them to be right, it would have to close above 98.
It would have to close above $98,000. Absolutely. Because that is the technical trend break right there. 98,000, here on spot, it's 97,963. It's 98,000.
And what's the fucking possibility of that happening?
Look, it is a lower likelihood because of the position that Bitcoin is in as it relates to support and resistance right now. And here's how things could shape up, though. If you see something like this, is where things change. Let's postulate that this could be a lower high. What if this ends up being a lower high here at $76,000? What is the criteria for a trend change if we saw something like that happen? Well, there's a few different scenarios which could play out. You could see a lower high here, you could see a higher low here, right? That takes out that lower high more locally. That would be your trend shift on any kind of a move. This would be a trend reversal if it put in a higher low as it relates to this low. You'd get a trend reversal setup if this was a high. This isn't the high yet on a close. It would be the high of the week, but not necessarily a closing high. So it doesn't meet the criteria for me. This is a closing lower high. You have a 3-candle structure. The red candle closed below the wicks and bodies of those 2 prior candles that were going up and or trending up. So that was a closing high. That is the last legitimate closing high. This is not a closing high, but let's say that it could become one. If it came down and put in a higher low, equal low as it relates to the 60K low, then that would be a reversal setup. And then if it closed above 76K, that would be your trend break. That would be the emerging signals of a macro trend shift beginning to happen. That's where, we would have to entertain, hey, what's the criteria for further downside? Well, it would be below the higher low instead of the lower low,
Yeah.
right? And that's where things would get interesting. And that's what I think, that's the path to playing out in the proper way. But more than likely what we would see is if this became a lower high here, is we likely get a lower low, even if it doesn't close below, but we likely get a lower low, mid to low 50s, maybe even upper 40s. And then this becomes the trend breaking lower high. If this were to close the lower high, whether it's here, but from here, right now, this isn't even a closing low yet. We would need to see this close the low and then break on a closing basis above $98,000 for us to begin that trend shift. I think that we have lower to go. I think that we get a lower high, we sweep lows, go a little bit lower, mid to low 50K area, maybe even upper 40,000, maybe even a nice big wick down into the mid 40s. That would be great. And then I think that would be our actual low coming in. And then we can start to look towards wherever the lower high would be, whether it be here or a little bit higher. I don't think we're going to go and break 98K. That doesn't mean that we're going to. I'm just in the camp of I don't see a path for it right here, right now. I think we need to build more structure, and I think we need to build more bullish divergences across various time frames, including momentum, RSI, and we need to find an actual solid bid. And I think that we need to see a sweep for liquidity off the lows too. If you look at spot, there's a lot of liquidity down here, right? You had the big move off of, let's go back here. You had everyone calling out this big spike in volume last cycle. Everybody's saying we're here on the low. Last cycle, I'm in the camp of we are here, like that initial spike down to 17.5. Everybody looked at the volume. We started to rise. We put in a lower high. We came back to the lows to retest, and then we broke through them quickly. For a couple of weeks, we sat below it and then reclaimed and came back up. I think we are here if we're going to make comparisons to 21 into 22. So 22, 17.5. That's the equivalent of where I think we are now with the 60K low. I think that we will see that retested and then a break below it. And then that is where we get our final low coming in.
Welcome to the breakdown. And thank you very much for that.
No worries.
Listen, Landy, you know what? One thing, I look at it. Obviously, I study everything. You know me, right? Like we've talked about this at length. Like I study everything. I look at everything. At the end of the day, this is what I do, ladies and gentlemen, or anybody who's tuning in. I take everything and now I use, obviously, it's available to us, AI, right?
Hmm.
But everything that I write down, I put it in, and I start trying to figure out what could happen. What is the most likely scenarios?
Yeah.
I just, like, this is why I hate Twitter at times. People just throwing shit out there. There's no explanation. It's just like, hey, we hit bottom. And I wanted to bring it up to you today. I saw like 3 or 4 of these charts, same copy pasta shit.
Yeah.
This is the same pattern that we had last cycle where we hit 15.5 and we bounced. And I'm like, but in my head, it's like, this could go lower. Like, this could go lower. Or here's another scenario. Like, okay, are we so, like, from my standpoint, not yours, are we so fucked from thinking that we were going past 127 that we might not realize that we did hit the bottom? Do you understand where I'm going with this? Like,
Yeah, but look, there's realities and then there's
I'm respecting the
psychological stuff.
charts. I
Yeah.
respect the charts. All I'm saying is mentally, it's like there are people on the sidelines or in their positions that say, you know what? I thought the shit was going to 200K last fucking year. I'm thinking that it's going lower right now. But what if we did hit the bottom?
Yeah.
But
I mean, look,
I know you're going to be against that, and that's why I wanted to
they
bring it
don't
up.
have here's the thing is they don't there's
I'm being the
being
contrarian here, man.
well, here's the thing is I laid out the conditions that would need to be met for this to be a macro low. You need to break $98,000. My opinion is, and and that's the invalidation of this opinion. My opinion is that we need to build more bullish divergences. We need to sweep the lows for liquidity, get more bidders in, and then break a lower high that's closer to where we are, and not the $98,000 one, right? And then methodically pull out of the bear market into a bull market. My opinion is that we start to see that all come to fruition end of Q3 into Q4. The invalidation of that is before Q3 to Q4, we set this particular low with no other lower highs, meaning that just sets the low here. 60K is that low, and we break $98,000. That is my invalidation. And here's the thing. All of these people that put those opinions out about that kind of stuff and copy pasta charts, they don't tell you what the invalidation of their thesis is.
They never
And
do.
and that's because it's not good for clicks if you introduce any doubt into the certainty of your post, because the whole point is to get it to have it be controversial, so that it gets views and engagement. And in this case, $98,000 is the invalidation. Highly likely that we see 60K maintained as a macro low area. Even if it gets swept slightly under, we wouldn't be looking for like a final leg down necessarily. That doesn't mean, and the criteria there, the invalidation would be breaking below 60K, right? It's really easy. People make markets overcomplicated, and they're not really that complicated when you're looking at price structure. And I'm just checking on oil because it's a lower term time frame bounce, but the hourly looks like it wants to reject these highs that have put in around $100. Um, the so for like Bitcoin is easy. Like, this is the easiest chart to read on the daily and weekly, right? Like, it's very easy to define the criteria. And one of the big things about technical analysis is people have turned it into a prediction. Oh, they're making a prediction about where price is going to go. And that's not what technical analysis is. Technical analysis is the study of price action in the market so that you can take advantage of price movements, which means that you're not directional. If you have a theory for why you're going to take a trade to the upside, you have an invalidation of that theory to take that trade, right? So like, I'm not going to look for longs at resistance, for instance, unless I'm looking to play a breakout, right? Or, I'm looking for shorts at resistance because I'm trading it back to the downside to an area. And where's the invalidation? So it's all about technical analysis is about helping you formulate a plan for your trades. And technical analysis can also be helpful for investors in identifying areas of interest to accumulate or distribute an asset. Accumulate meaning buy, of course, distribute the asset meaning sell. And in this case, many people utilize technical analysis and charts to act like Nostradamus. And they're Nostradamus, most of what he said was open-ended so that it could be interpreted by people later, and people go and they interpret it and see the confluences with the things that they want to see. Dude didn't predict anything. All right.
Wow.
And nobody in these markets is actually going to be really good. I mean, you're going to get people that are going to be lucky, but then the people that have been right about where price is going isn't because they're making a prediction. It's because they are making a plan, and they're planning for both sides of the equation. So if you're looking at this as like, hey, I'm so confused about where Bitcoin is going. Well, I got a clue for you right here. This is called a downtrend. It's going down. And the only way to start going up again is to break that downtrend if you want to go up consistently. Otherwise, it remains a downtrend. So in order to change that, we need to break the downtrend and then have the opportunity to put in higher lows to create an uptrend. This is not hard. People make it hard and complicated so that they can sell you overcomplicated courses and tools and all kinds of crap. But in reality, it's not difficult.
And you are not selling that kind of shit to anybody.
No, my information is free. You know what? I should start selling it to people because I give out so much of this damn information for
free.
Exactly.
Exactly. It is true, man. It's a thankless job. And by the way, I just want to say, TikTok, what are we doing, man? Reshare, tell your grandparents. Landy's on right now. Landy is on right now, breaking shit down for you. And you're not resharing this with your grandparents, your parents, your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. The audacity. We'll be right back, though, right after this commercial break. Episode 685, sponsored by Midnight, sponsored by Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet takes second hour. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
welcome back. Welcome back real quick. Let me go ahead and give also a shout out to People's Reserve. People's Reserve was built on a simple idea. You shouldn't have to choose between saving your money and using it. Traditional finance forces that trade-off. People's Reserve changes it. By using Bitcoin as collateral, you can unlock liquidity while keeping your long-term savings intact. It's a smarter way to put your money to work in a sound money system. So there you go. People's Reserve also, shout out to them. Sponsor on the show 3 days a week. We're back, though. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour 2. It's 1:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had to call off a guest because I didn't think that Twitter was going to work today. That's probably the wrong move, right, Landy? I got to call somebody off from coming onto the show today and reschedule for next week because Twitter wasn't working. I thought it was going to be down for a while. Why would I, I'm thinking about that right now. Why would I do that? Why did I do that? Why? Anyway, Landy, you there? Landy, you're muted, bro.
I'm here.
Jesus Christ.
I was pulling a DG. I call it a DG when you're talking and the mic is off. I was having a full conversation with you too. It was amazing. It was really good. Glad you participated.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've been, I see comments. I'm looking at all the comments. I see people like, yo, what's happening with Landy? I told you I was shitcoining a little bit.
Just a little, yeah.
Just a little bit. And number one, Fire Token X, let me address you and say, I held Flork, okay? I've been holding Flork. I was up $40,000. Do you know where it is right now? $1,500. So don't come into this chat. And number one, I didn't go on X and say anything. I just said I like that meme. I went in. I'm holding. You motherfuckers, honestly, are ridiculous. And I'm putting that kindly. You guys are ridiculous. You're monsters, savages. You have no heart. Absolutely no heart. 40, I think I was up almost 50 grand. Actually, I think I was almost up 50 grand. And I said, I am not getting out of here until we hit 100 mil. You guys were getting out at like fucking $3 profits. Yeah, I should have took profit. I said, I am doing the $5,000 to actually multi-million-dollar challenge. I could listen, and I know this is long term. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. By the way, I also want everybody to know, especially on Twitter, guys, talking here. Don't DM me and tell me I love your show. I watch it. Landy, I sent Landy a picture yesterday. And by the way, I am actually flattered. Let me turn off this screen. We'll go right back to the charts. We'll have like a chart day today. I want to say something, Landy.
Yes.
There are so many people that watch this show. They're sitting there drinking Johnny Walker, eating a fucking steak at fucking 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, watching the show. But some of them say that they don't know how they can participate in the chat. And then others don't I feel like a lot of you guys don't even participate. But yet I see you posting up pictures like I'm going to be trading and at the same time you're watching us. So say hello. Just say fucking hello.
People have taken to also DMing me during the show now, and telling me that they can't see the X chat. Here's what's going on with the X chat. If you're using a PC, it seems like you can only see a portion of the chat. And then on the other side of that, when using the application, it's a mess, to be honest. It's a mess. They really need to fix it. But you can see a little bit more of the
TikTok.
chat.
Go to TikTok.
TikTok
I advise you guys. Say that again.
the TikTok chat is consistent. Like, there's no problems over there. They've got it figured out. X needs to figure this out because their web even today, all day the web, from the computer side of things, if you're using a web browser, X is basically broken. You can see a post, but you can't see anything under the post. If you try to do anything like save the post or bookmark it or to read later or interact with it, then that fails. And then you go to the application from the phone, and some of it works, and then the chat doesn't work, or the
Look,
DM now don't work.
look at the people in the chat. Some of them are like, I drive to work and listen in.
Yeah.
I and listen, that's a lot of people. But like, fucking stop the car on the side of the fucking highway and just say hi. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about that because I sent you a picture.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling through a chat. Nobody knows I'm even there. And I see it. I'm like, I was honored. Number one, I was honored because, like, you know, how cool is that? Somebody is, let me push my chair. How cool is it? Like, it's a dream to be on TV, right? And then, like, you see people putting you on, tuning into your show and watching you as if they're watching Jerry Springer.
Oh man, Jerry.
Let
A
me
lot
not
of
go
people
Jerry
forget
Springer, but
he was
as they're tuning into
a lot
like
of
a
people forget he
Fox
was a
broadcast.
politician before he became a TV show host. I don't know why that came up the
Damn,
other day. Yeah, Jerry Springer was a politician before he became
I know that.
yeah,
Wasn't he the
TV
mayor
show,
of like Cincinnati or some shit?
something like that. I don't really remember. I just know that he was a politician. And
Aren't we the
then
same age?
who?
Or am I
Me and you?
older?
Um, I mean, I'm only 25 according to the
Okay,
internet,
never
so
mind. I almost doxed him.
uh, uh,
And I didn't
no,
realize it.
no,
Ladies and
I
gentlemen, I didn't realize it.
we're about the same age, yeah.
About the same age. Welcome
About the
to the
same age.
breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, Fran won't let it go, but yesterday I did say, as I was ranting, Landy, I don't know if you were here. You weren't here. You probably went
I
to, you know, you have 19 shows that you attend daily.
I watched, a wonderful guest that you had on, and I don't wanna mess up her name, so I'll let you say her name.
Monet.
Um, Monet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was great, and then I
She went
was
viral
yeah, she did with her dance. She went viral on X and TikTok?
everywhere.
She's on TikTok too.
Yeah. She went
Yeah,
viral everywhere for that dance. But
yeah,
you know what it is? Like, people ask me, hey, this is a serious thing. And since we're going to have a kumbaya session, a lot of people ask me, yo, Dave, can you bring on like Tate and all these people? And they will come on this year. Like, I promise you go to see Andrew Tate. You'll see everybody you guys want. Like, we'll bring them on. We'll have an interview. Like, I've already been in discussions and had conversations. Let's put that to the side. I also just want to bring on people that I personally like. Like,
mhm.
really, like, I'll see somebody on like with like 44 followers, and I think they really do put out really good content, and I just want to bring them on and have a conversation with them about the markets, or it could be political. Like, it could be political conversations. That's what I'm interested in. Listen, might not be your cup of tea, but it's cool to bring on like people that aren't maybe well known, but they have hella good takes. How many people have 52 followers, but like are absolutely caking it and absolutely know what the fuck the markets are doing?
It
So many.
There's a lot of people that, just observe on social media, that
Yeah.
you don't even know who they are, and some of them it's funny, I've talked one of the reasons why I still participate in a lot of X spaces, I know that you don't anymore, but one of the reasons that I do is, I have contacts in the industry that they don't have a social media presence, but
Yeah.
they go and they listen in the grease trap, or they'll come in under their account and you don't even know. They're just chilling in the audience and listening to what's going on and just kind of getting a feel for where things are in like crypto and AI and kind of, the financial markets from the perspective of regular people that aren't involved directly in the industry. And me, like, I'm not really directly involved. I've been retired since 2015, so but I've still got a lot of friends that like to just see what's going
You
on.
heard this motherfucker? You heard, Chad? You heard this motherfucker? I've
I
been
just slipped
retired since
that in.
2015.
Yes, sir. It's 11-year anniversary coming up soon.
Before you get into your little thing, I want to go ahead and talk about something. I guess the crowd want to hear this. Let's go ahead and let me throw this on here because I posted this yesterday. I tweet like once a day now. I don't even tweet more than that. I'll reply to stuff, but I don't tweet much.
Yep.
Not because I don't tweet much. The SEC though, yesterday, the SEC and the CFTC dropped clarity on crypto. BTC, Ethereum, Sol, XRP, ADA, Link, AVAX, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, DOT, which is Polkadot, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, XTZ, HBAR, APT. That was what's listed on, obviously, the statement that they put out there yesterday as digital commodities. And they came out yesterday stating, the SEC chair came out yesterday and just stated that, most things aren't securities. And they've classified them. Okay. They have classified the shit finally. This kind of event would have sent Bitcoin to fucking $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like fucking last cycle, we would have been at $1 million Bitcoin with this kind of shit. $1 million Bitcoin.
I don't think so.
I know. I'm just
hodlers.
Saying, like the energy would have been.
It would have been exciting, much more exciting.
Like
it would have been exciting if they did this at the highs too.
Like the previous two cycles, you're coming out. That the previous two cycles, if something was even rumored to be going on Coinbase, people are jumping in. There's excitement. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, like something like this comes out, you got clarity. All these digital commodities, all of these listings, all of the things that I just listed are digital commodities now. This is what the industry has been waiting for. That's what I wrote. And it's cool for the next, let's say 3 years. It'll be cool for the next 3 years, but you got to pass a fucking law in place to make sure this stands, because if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, Vance doesn't win, if it's Vance who's who's going to be the candidate in 2028, because I don't know what's happening now. It seems like, say that again.
I personally hope that he doesn't run for president.
It seems like there's a lot of it's like, first it was JD Vance, he was the darling, and now it's Rubio.
I've never. Okay, I gotta give my 2 cents on this.
Hold on, let me land.
Always being cautious about JD.
Right now, this is the talk of the town in the political world. It was JD Vance, and now Trump is just completely. He's all Rubio.
He's spotlighting him, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So now, and like when you look at the base, the MAGA base, it's gone from JD, respectfully, it's gone from JD to we like Rubio.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen in 2028. I don't know how these two guys are going to approach the situation, because I'm sure JD Vance wants to run for president. And Rubio's always had aspirations to be the president of the United States of America. I'm wondering how this is going to work out. I really am wondering. The Democrats don't have a candidate. Like, they really don't. Who do they have? Gavin Newsom, that's not going to work. AOC, forget about that.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, not happening. Kamala Harris, are you serious? Like, unless you guys, the only people that are going to vote for her are the people that are in AA. So what I'm saying here is, you don't really have candidates
with her.
Exactly. Josh Shapiro? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think he's prepping. He might prep. We'll find out in like 20. We'll find out more in 27.
John Furman has a better chance of winning than any of the people that I just named.
I think that
It-
he would be their best candidate. That's why I don't think he's going to get the nomination because
Who,
he would
John
be their best
Fetterman?
candidate. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't agree with him, but I
Listen,
think he'd be their best candidate.
I think people could relate to John Fetterman. See, this is what happens
Fetterman?
when you're not. Say that again.
Wait, Josh
No,
or
no,
Fetterman?
Fetterman. I think Fetterman. Let me explain why. I know you think I'm fucking crazy.
No, I like Fetterman. I
The
disagree
reason
with him,
why I
but I
say
like him.
Fetterman is because people would look at him. Number one, he's not in a suit. He dresses down, right? That's the average American. Respectfully, that's not putting anybody down. It's just respectfully, people can relate to him. That's one.
Mhm.
Number two, they see like he's willing to work on both sides. He doesn't agree with everything the Republican Party does, but he's willing to work together for or in the benefit of the American people, right? Think about this. Because this is a crazy thing, right? Where like politicians actually want to work for the American people regardless of what side they're on.
Yep.
I can see though, like because everybody made fun of Trump, nobody thought Trump will win. Trump didn't even think he was going to win in 16, right? I, I I'm saying like your best candidate to the Democrats, your best candidate is Fetterman. He is more relatable than anybody you have or anybody you're trying to prop up in your party. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. As for the Republican Party, I think there's a lot. I think it shifted. I think it shifted. I think Trump has shifted his position. I don't know. I'm just saying. Now JD came out. It was what the press conference 2 days ago,
Yep.
or in the Oval Office when they were taking questions. And JD is a well-spoken individual, and he
He
said,
is.
You're not going respectfully." I think it was the reporter was Roger or something. He said respectfully, "I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to put a wedge between me and the president. I believe that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon." I'm paraphrasing, but he's on the
Yeah.
same page because
Yeah.
everybody thinks that JD has gone dark. Uh, he's gone silent because he doesn't agree with everything that's going on here with the president's decision. So again, I don't know. Could be true though, because I don't hear President Trump gloating. And this is not listen. This is speculation. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to read the energy in the room. I don't hear him gloating about JD the same way he's gloating about Marco Rubio.
I I get it. That's gonna be the perception, I think, for a little while. But JD is, he's got very important tasks that he's focused on domestically and pushing the president's agenda forward. Um, to kind of roll back for just a moment, I know we moved on from it. Or maybe we'll circle back to it. Oh my god, I said circle back. Anyway, the the problem with JD for me is I'm not a fan of some of the underlying core value system that he has, even though they align with the more conservative side of things, in terms of governance from a federal level. I like JD. I think that he's a good guy, but I'm not a fan of um, his his approval of the concepts or core concepts, even if he disagrees with other overarching aspects of this. But the Curtis Yarvin connection really bothers me because I strongly disagree with the corporatization of the federal government. Um, and I don't know how aligned he still is with that particular wing because Trump is not really fully aligned, but you can see how the connections through JD have borne out into um, some appointments within the administration, specifically on the crypto side of things with Sachs, who's also all connected with that crew through Thiel and the rest. I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not a fan of David Sachs. I don't dislike the man, but I'm not a fan of some of his ideas in how to get things done for the American people. I think that it's far too focused on um, bloating the corporation over the will of the people. But JD doesn't express himself in that way. He does run counter to it in many cases, but he's expressed approval for some of these concepts, and that makes me cautious of him. Now, on the Democrat side of things, obviously the leader of that pack is going to be Gavin Newsom, right? That he's positioning himself. The Democrat Party has not yet aligned to help him position, but they're starting to slowly beta test him out there, right? I think that their best person would be a guy like a John Fetterman, but then you have a Josh Shapiro who would actually be, I think, their best candidate overall for them, and to pull moderates would be a Josh
Yeah,
Shapiro.
I don't
Even though
know if
I
a Junish.
vehemently I disagree with Josh Shapiro on a lot of stuff. I think he'd be their best candidate. I like John Fetterman, disagree with a lot of his takes, but he also is on the right side of history with many of his takes in alignment with the United States citizens and his
Yeah,
constituents. And
yeah,
that matters a lot. And that's where you've seen, we got to remember Trump was a Democrat. Gabbard was a Democrat. All of these people all these, RFK Jr., Democrat. So many Democrats have aligned with Trump because Trump's ideas are not right wing. They're not left wing. They are moderate takes that even Democrats were pillars of the Democrat Party. These were takes and policies that were pillars of the Democrat Party establishment
until
running
the
against the
Democrats
corporate
went and
establishment.
started fucking. Democrats went from really helping the poor to really now serving special interest.
Yeah, well, the
They are
Democrats
I've
decided
said
they
this
were going to
before.
do
They are
fraud.
everything they accuse the Republican Party of being.
Well, here's the problem. Democrats, used to be counter to the giant mega corporation narrative that the Republicans represented. And they had a good point, because a lot of Republicans represented and shielded for large scale mega corporations, and that lined their pockets. Well, then Democrats went the full social side of things, but then started doing fraud over there and letting it run rampant. So they were just as bad, just on the social side of things instead of the corporate
Yeah.
side of things, and no one's improving anything. And realistically, you get a guy like Trump and you get these other more moderate people that are not actually extremists, even though that's, when the left lurches so far left that Democrats are going, wait, you're calling me a right wing um extremist when I'm literally, my values haven't changed. And then that becomes, well, you need to change your values with time. No, you're not going to defile your principles just because the party wants to shift the ground underneath you to meet their end goals. And that's what made Trump. That's what made MAGA. MAGA is not a bunch of conservatives. It's predominantly people who are more conservative, but most people that are MAGA are moderates, right? Both on social and domestic and international issues. There's a diverse set of opinions in the MAGA movement because everybody's from every walk of life, from rich to poor, that feels like they have actually had somebody speaking their language. A John Fetterman, honestly, he's more MAGA than any of these freaking fake MAGA influencers, because all these MAGA influencers are fake as shit.
Yeah,
They're
let me
just
tell you,
grifters.
shout out to the fakest one of all, which is Nick Fuentes. This dude out here talking about impeach Trump.
Well, he was never
Like,
for Trump.
n-
He was
it-
never for
but,
Trump.
but this guy's not a Republican. He's never been MAGA. He went and pretended to be a part of the movement just to go ahead and milk off of Trump's fucking success, built his base,
Yeah.
and now he's like, I'm out the closet
Yeah.
100%. Like a lot of them. Look at Candace Owens got caught yesterday.
She gets
Caught
caught all the
yesterday.
time.
Did you see what she was talking about? Benjamin
Netanyahu.
BB, yeah, where like she was like, oh, he's putting out all these fake AIs. Like his staff is putting out all these fake ass AI videos of him meeting people and going to places. And then her own producer had to jump in because she was going on this rant that he's like really dead. And the producer jumps in and says he's live right now. Live in a cabinet meeting. Like it was live cabinet meeting from Israel talking about the situation. So she was like, she started backtracking, saying, oh, but these are what people are saying. You could see the pain in her face. You could see the pain. The pain. Wild. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 685. We're 15 episodes away from 700. You know, that's an official number. Unofficially, it's been more. But that is a great number. I want everybody to, that is a fucking phenomenal number. To reach even 685 episodes is a phenomenal feat. That means that I've been getting up every single day. I've been getting up every single day to do this goddamn show. I remember how it even started. I remember my first show. I remember. I had long hair.
Wait, what?
I had long hair.
I mean, it wasn't like...
No, I had long hair, like here. Long hair when I started doing the show.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like you were what? It was coming down like to the top of your shoulders?
Almost to the top of my shoulders. Backwards hat. What's going on? Welcome to the breakdown. It's funny. It's evolved, you know. And then I had Akil Patterson, who was the co-host of the show.
Yep.
And we would go back and forth on politics. We actually got naked on this show.
Awkward.
And we had a guest who came on who also took off their shirt.
Shirtless shows.
Now it is, you know, I gotta say I'm really, really, really happy that the show is, you know, this show, and of course I believe it's only going to get better and stuff. But I'm just happy about where the show is going, where the brand is going. I'm happy about that. I'm happy. The feedback's been wonderful. Even the haters, Landy, I like this part. Even the haters are like, which I don't really give a fuck about numbers. I really don't care about numbers. I don't. Because I want my own platform. I want to speak into a mic and look into a camera and just talk about the news and talk about how I feel. And if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, you don't. And that's okay. No, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But even the haters are like, yo, man, this guy should have more ratings. Literally yesterday or a day before, somebody said, like, he should be having more ratings. He brings on really great guests and, like, he should be, like, having way more ratings. Thank you. I'll strive, I guess, for that. It's literally not the first thing on my mind. The first thing on my mind is to produce a really good show, to come on here and drop value. And if I can't do that, I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out how I can go ahead and give you guys value. I think having Landy on the show, which I expected him only to be here for 15 minutes, he's here. It's 1:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's here. And I think Landy gives you a lot of value. I think Landy does give you a lot of value. If you've never heard of Landy, you're missing out. He's giving you free material. Like free material that, like, people charge you for lesser quality bullshit. It's one of the things we talked about today. When I said that there are a lot of people that are coming out there with charts, throwing it out there and saying that, hey, we hit bottom. But there's no thesis to it as to why. There's no explanation. It's just like, here's the chart. Landy's here doing 30 minutes. I'm not talking about on this show, but he's doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Besides all the shows that he goes and participates on, he's out here recording and breaking stuff down for you. He gets nothing from it. Nothing. And I can say this for Landy. He's not seeking fame.
Nope.
I haven't had a conversation with Landy once where he's talked about I want fame, or I want to be a notable person. Never has that come up in the conversation. Here's a guy who roots for other people, legit, and I appreciate that. And he wants to know how he can go ahead and participate in the topic, how he can go ahead and drop some value for you. So if you're not following Landy on, let's say, Twitter at CryptoLandy, or on TikTok, which is at Landy.btc, then you really are missing out. I'm telling you right now, I've been around for a very long time here. I've seen people do TA. There's only a few people I respect in the game. And there's a lot that do TA here. I am telling you, they come out here and they give you 43,000 scenarios. Landy doesn't do that shit with you. Never does that. And if he's wrong, he's wrong. But like, he's hard. Like, I hate saying this because I want to vomit. But he's hardly wrong. He was wrong on the pause market. He was wrong on the pause market. No, but he's hardly wrong.
I called it way ahead of time. That's all. I still need that T-shirt, brother. Still need to get
anybody
those out
who says counter trade Landy is an idiot. Go ahead. Counter trade Landy if you wanna end up on welfare. Counter trade Landy. Go ahead. Do it. I'd love to see how that works out for you. I'm not saying that. Hey, listen. It is what it is. Anyway, you're welcome.
The funny part is when it comes to technical analysis, my favorite thing on X is people who give these takes and then when they're wrong, they delete them. I have never deleted any of my takes, and all of my videos are available there. And they're even, I just kind of use YouTube as a backup. They're all on YouTube as well. And pretty soon I am going to, I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to start clipping out portions of either this segment or from the videos, whatever is more relevant to what's going on in the markets, and start uploading that to TikTok. So it's just a matter of the amount of time that the video can be. So the length of the video at this point. So those are going to be coming to TikTok. I'm going to start doing a little bit of that as well. Just my main goal is to help people understand what's happening in price action in the markets. And realistically, I'm not here to predict where price is going to go. I'm here to help you figure out how you want to take advantage of the price movements for yourself. And that's going to be on an individual basis. Like, you have to make your own decision on that. How are you going to take advantage of price if it heads to these specific areas? Are you to the downside? Are you going to be bidding those areas, or are you going to be selling those areas, right, to the upside, right? Or if you're in it for the longer term, are you looking, where are you looking to accumulate? And really encouraging people just to, especially with something like Bitcoin or your favorite crypto asset, is to have a plan for accumulation in the bear market periods. And that's really where it's at. And look, the main reason that I haven't been quote unquote wrong about where price is going is because I'm not an idealist. I'm not going to give you crazy numbers. I'm going to track price in real time and let you know where I think things are going and what the invalidation of that thesis is. And it's really simple. It tends to work out pretty damn well. And that's, it's not because I'm any smarter than anyone else. I've just been doing this for a very, very, very long time. It's almost, if I didn't enjoy it, it would be the "I'm tired boss" meme, but I enjoy it. Like, legitimately, whether I was here or uploading videos, if I wasn't doing that, I'd still be doing all the charting just for myself so that I can just go and trade what I like to trade and accumulate what I like to accumulate.
I feel you on that. That's the kind of thing, like, I feel the same way. I come on here, and whether there's a guest on here or not, I feel like having a conversation about what's happening, whether it's in crypto, finance, politics. I do it really for myself, because if I enjoy it, then I think other people will enjoy it. So I get where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from. I also don't delete my
love of the
tweets
game.
even when I'm fucking wrong. So it is what
Yep.
it is. I'll take it. I never claim to be 100% right on anything. I try to even being in this industry for so long, I still try to learn. I still sit back, two ears, one mouth, and I try to understand. Okay, I try to understand people's perspectives. But I want to thank Landy for being on this fucking show today.
Well, I
For this
appreciate you
long,
having me. Before I go though,
he's becoming a
some breaking
superstar.
news. Breaking
What's the
news.
breaking news?
The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, um, has quietly purchased and registered the domain name aliens.gov. Like people were searching DNS records and purchases, and apparently they found that they registered this on the 17th. So yesterday they didn't announce anything, but they went to get.gov and they registered aliens.gov.
I got to tell you, a lot of people within our industry look like aliens. So I believe aliens do exist. Just from the standpoint, I've been to conferences and I've seen some of these aliens. Okay, I've
Oh
seen some of
man.
these alien motherfuckers that show up to these conferences. The aliens do exist. Trust me. There's been some crossbreeding.
Oh man.
100%.
See here, I've been pulling for the lizard people the entire time, and it turns out it's going to be aliens. But are the
Bro, some of
aliens
these
the
people that
lizard
I've seen,
people?
I'm telling you, some of the conferences that I've been to, these people are so green in the face. Like when you lack oxygen and I guess if you stay home and you don't leave your house and like you get like, you're not getting oxygen, you're not getting the
Yeah.
right, you're not eating the right fucking food, whatever. Like these people show up to the conference smelling like onions and they're green in the face. They look like they're missing every single vitamin possible. Okay, so like I'm telling you, man, a lot of these aliens, man, the alien shit is true. I'm telling you, a lot of these people, their fathers are on Planet X or some shit because like 100%. Anyway, by the way, biggest subject right now is no, I'm not gonna say it. I can't fuck with my own party, man. I can't fuck. Anyway, Landy,
Uh,
as always, you can catch him today, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as he comes out with his recap of the markets, okay, or breakdown of the markets. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so tune into that. You can find that on X, okay? Formerly known as Twitter. I hate that X thing. Formerly known as Twitter, okay? You can go on Twitter. I'm going to say Twitter. Go on Twitter and you can catch him. Landy, thank you as always. And thank you for staying this long. I appreciate you.
yeah, no problem, David. Thank you
I
for
know you
having
have
me.
other engagements. I know people are calling you and you want to break down shit on spaces, but I appreciate you being here.
Well, no problem, David, and I appreciate you having me. Thank you, and probably talk to you later outside of this venue because there's some funny stuff happening in the background right now. So have a good rest of your show, and I'll be back here tomorrow with you.
Thank you very much, Landy. Landy, 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 Landy. Landy. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's man. You know what? I never talk about private conversations, but all I'll say is Landy is a really great guy, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the bro being yeah. I just damn man, damn I appreciate the bro. I really do. By the way, because I see this in chats, if you guys want to collaborate, if you're looking to become or you're looking to partner up with the Gochstein brand, the DG personal brand, you can go ahead and send an email to partnerships@gochstein.com, or you can go on to my website, davidgochstein.com. So there you go. Shout out to the sponsors, Midnight, Polymarket, Cake Wallet, People's Reserve, a lot more things happening. I'm not going to talk about it. I tell you this I tell you these things and they happen. Look at this live visibility restriction for 10 minutes. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the For You feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines. Reasons: misinformation that may cause moderate harm. What are you talking about? I've been giving Landy shoutouts. Are you fucking kidding me? Hold on. Is it because I was talking about aliens? Oh my God, this has to be because I was talking about fucking aliens. Not actually doing that. I'm talking about just talking about aliens. This is wild. Yo, you can't make this up. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look, it's every single day. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Limited visibility because we're talking about aliens? The Democratic Party looks like aliens. Now what? Go ahead, ban me. The whole Democratic Party looks like a bunch of aliens. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Don't worry, guys. The Republican Party, you don't have to worry. I'm going to tell you why you don't have to worry. You might be upset about Nick Fuentes and how he's abandoned the MAGA movement, that he's shitting on Republicans. Don't worry. You got me. You got me. Don't worry about it. He was never a Republican. He was a fake ass Republican, a closet Democrat, soared from day one. And you know what happens? While I was taking a shower today, I was thinking about this. I was like, you know what happens to a lot of these people? They start losing their fame, okay? They start losing their engagement. And you know what they do? They automatically, they go into these conspiracy theories. They shit on their own people so they can continue that little 15 minutes of fame that they have. It's true. Candace Owens stopped getting reach. So what did she do? She turned on every single person that was ever good to her. That's what she did. Look at this guy, Ian Carroll. You don't even hear about him no more. 15 minutes is up. I'm not saying you can't, and this is, I've said this to friends because we've had these conversations. You can't say, let me rewind. We can criticize any fucking government. Like, you can criticize the United States of America. You can criticize Israel. Like, you can criticize Israel. Doesn't mean that you hate Israel. But you can criticize. Or you can give feedback. I don't believe anybody should be slapped on the wrist for criticizing a different country. Like, I don't believe that. And now my fellow Jews might come after me and say, what are you saying, Dave? No. Here, Jews, okay? A fellow Jew to all you Jews, listen to me for a second. You gotta, what do you mean we can't criticize anybody? What are you talking about? First of all, I'm American. Red, white, and blue running through these motherfucking veins. I can criticize anybody. Not gonna tell me, wait, can't be passing bills talking about can't criticize people. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? It's not anti-Semitism if somebody criticizes Israel. It's like that's not how it works. And I don't want to be a part of that victim mentality, bro. When there's real anti-Semitism, then you can go ahead and state it. Then you can point that out. You can't start saying everything is anti-Semitic. You can't. You can't. You can't do it. You can't do it. Like, I am telling you right now, you cannot do that shit, man. You can't. Every single thing that somebody says that might be a critique about Israel, you can't go out there and say, oh my God, anti-Semitism. No, that is going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse. But where I was leading to this is everybody who starts talking about Israel this, Israel that, oh, I broke my leg because of Israel. That's it. Like, the weight. They used to have some sort of impact. Now it doesn't. You've overplayed that entire narrative. It's over. It's over. I'm telling you, seriously. 6 months ago or 12 months ago, you can see the temperature, but now it's like nobody really cares. I'm telling you, it's not, you think it's a huge issue, but you're stuck in your own little echo chamber. Like when, I forgot the woman's name. She was a part of the beauty pageant or something. I forgot the woman's name. She's come out, and I said this yesterday. She came out, she said, I've talked to people in MAGA. I've talked to people in MAGA. They're all out. They are all absolutely out. Meanwhile, CNN is reporting that everybody in MAGA supports everything that is happening in Iran. So who looks like an idiot? And Tucker Carlson is bringing on, Tucker Carlson's going to bring on, what's his name? He's bringing on Joe Kent. Joe Kent, what was it, like 3 months ago, went on Sean Ryan's show. Sean Ryan's show. And you know what? Let's play it. Let's play it. You want to talk about people exposing themselves for who they are? Let's play this. Let's play this shit for you guys. According to NBC, 100% of MAGA, the MAGA base approves of President Trump. 100% of MAGA approves of President Trump, and that is according to NBC. Not Fox, but NBC. Hold on one second. I want you guys to see this. This guy, Joe Kent, came out and said he can no longer work his position because he is against this war and all this shit. Let's go ahead and play what he said 3 months ago. Let's play this. Let's play this for the audience. Let's go ahead and bring this up. People are full of shit. Here, let's go ahead and play this.
Yeah, I mean, most Americans, they're still registering.
Here's him talking about Iran, okay? I want you to watch this. This is where he's talking about Iran. This is where he's talking about Iran. Let me go ahead and put myself here because I deserve to be in the goddamn picture. I am sexy as hell. Let's go ahead and play this.
they're still registering for the draft, aren't they? Like that's the logical conclusion to the direction that we're heading in right now, unless we make some serious changes.
I mean, I've already heard rumors that Fifth Group is going to be sending guys to Iraq because of the escalated situation with Iran now.
Yeah. I mean, most Americans aren't aware of it. Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies. And when we say Iranian proxies, we got to be clear on what that is. That's the Iraqi government that we pay. Because after the Iraqi military we spent $2 trillion on surrendered to ISIS, we had to go back in there in very short order and stand the military back up again. And guess who filled the breach? The Shia militias controlled by Iran did. And the Iraqi government's controlled by Iran. So they're still registering.
Do you see? Do you see? And of course, Tucker is bringing him on his show. Of course, he's bringing him on his show. Because Tucker's another sellout. Another sellout. Another sellout. It's crazy, man. It is absolutely fucking insanity. You've tuned into the breakdown, episode 20. I was reading the time. Episode 685, sponsored by Midnight. Also sponsored by Polymarket, Cake Wallet, and the People's Reserve. It is 2:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're looking at Joe Kent, who resigned from his position because he didn't agree with the Iraqi war. The Iran war. I respect the fact that he served the United States of America. That's one thing I won't take away. I see a lot of people on social media. They're like, hey, like this guy, da 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 da. Hold up. He's a veteran. He lost his wife. He lost his wife in the war. Okay, she was in the military. He lost his wife in the war. So calm down there. But we can be critical and say, this man flip-flopped. This man tweeted out what a danger Iran is. Let me get this tweet. Hold on. Let me get this tweet. Let me get this tweet. Where is that tweet? Where's the tweet? Of course, the grifter Tucker Carlson, he's ready. God damn it, where it is. Where is it? Where is this, man? Where's that goddamn tweet from him? Here it is. Here's the tweet. Here's the tweet. Here's a tweet from Joe Kent, 2024, September 25th, 2024. Joe Kent says, Iran has been after Trump since January of 2020 after he ordered the target and killing of that goddamn terrorist. This isn't a new threat. Secret Service consistently failing to secure Trump is new, or maybe it isn't new. Where's that other tweet though? Hold on. Where's that other tweet? See, he talks about Iran though, but there's another tweet where he tweeted out. Hold on. It's not this one. It's not this tweet. Where's the goddamn tweet? I'll find it tomorrow. You know, I'll find this goddamn tweet tomorrow. I'll find it tomorrow. Unless I can find it today. Hold on. I'm having moments here. Here it is. Here's a tweet. Here's a tweet. President Trump put it out yesterday. Here's the tweet. Hold on. Here's the tweet. That's the tweet. So the tweet says, if you can't read it, the tweet says, it's at Donald Trump. We should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic capabilities out and get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. No US WAIKIA is a tribute to the professionalism of the military and the intel professionals, not Iranian restraint. That was in 2020. We should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic capabilities out. Get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. How people turn. And apparently, speculation, the reason for all this happening is because apparently he's been known as a leaker. I mean, again, that's speculation, but that's what's been put out there, that he's been known as a leaker. And he hasn't been briefed on things that have been happening for a few months now. And apparently Trump told Tulsi to get rid of him. I don't know, again, speculation. Speculation on that. But you've had a lot of leakers. Not a lot, not as much as you did in the first term of Trump. But, you know, speculation, but Tucker, I feel like Trump this time around is playing 4D chess with people. I really do believe that. He is playing 4D chess, saying things, having people go back, report on them, or report to people that they shouldn't be reporting to. I think that's what's happening. So, in my own opinion with Joe Kent, I think because they took away or did not provide him with intel for a couple of months now, this is his way, or this was his way of, I guess, retaliating. Because if you look at his history, it's all been about, we got to take Iran out. The Iranian regime is bad, we got to take them out. And everybody knows this. They sponsor terrorism. They sponsor terrorist groups. So mean, the whole world fucking knows that. It's really crazy, man. It's really, I am blown away. I don't know who reported on this too. Blown away by the amount of people that are okay. That are okay with Americans rooting for America to lose. I'm just blown away. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Where's crypto at right now? What are we looking at right now? Bitcoin is at 71,856. Ethereum's at 2214. We got Solana at 90. What do we have here in the stock market? Where are we at in the stock market? Give me a second. Dow Jones is at 46,946. It's up almost 1% today. What's Nasdaq doing? Nasdaq is up 1.2% today, so that's cool to see. Yeah, that's basically again choppy. It's been green. People have been celebrating. It's nice to see people have been celebrating, but again, like we're not out of the woods. It's still gonna chop. Your best bet is to front run the markets. I will say this every single day on this show. Front run the markets. That's it. Front run the markets. That's all you can do. You don't have the money that the institutional players have, so just front run with whatever you have. Front run the markets. By the way, anybody who's asking me about Flork and all this shit that I'm shitcoining with, I'm shitcoining. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I am not. I've learned my lesson. I am not going to go out there and feed you. Okay? You become a bag worker. Go bag work. It ain't gonna be me. Okay? I said I'm holding. I was up $40,000 on Flork, and you guys dumped on my forehead. Don't come at me with, oh my God, let's No. You rally the troops. I'm sitting here. You rally the troops, okay? A lot of you guys like to tweet at me, hey, David, check out this project. What? So you can go ahead and take my money? No, thank you. No, thank you. I wrote a tweet that went over everybody's fucking head. Let me go ahead and read it too. I wrote a tweet. I don't know if you guys caught it. Wrote a tweet. I said, where is it? Honest question, I said. How much wealth has been destroyed chasing thousands of worthless crypto tokens instead of just buying Bitcoin? I wasn't talking down, by the way, to clarify, I wasn't talking down the crypto ecosystem. I'm talking about how many of you guys have lost money chasing these dog shit tokens from Pump.Fun that only go up for 5 minutes and they're done. Imagine if you took all that money and put it into Bitcoin, where would you stand? That was the fucking message. And I need to realize that IQ levels are low here. So I need to explain myself a bit better here. I thought people would comprehend. I really thought people would comprehend that tweet. Like, how much money would you have saved? How much money would you have saved if you didn't chase all this dog shit? Seriously. How much money would have been saved? How much money would have been saved? And I think the only people that got mad at me are the people that their lives depend on many tokens being out there. I get it. I understand. A lot of your lives depend on that. And you didn't like that. You didn't like that. You didn't like that I said that. You didn't like it. You didn't like it. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to give a shout out to TikTok for fucking, I don't know, giving me I got a warning today. Now you know it's getting ridiculous. I got a warning today. Limited visibility. I got limited visibility today. I got punished because I talked about aliens. I mean, you can't even make this up with TikTok anymore. I get the whole political avenue. I get it when I talk about politics. I understand that I can say things that you think is misinformation and it's not. You know, this is a show. This is a real show where I break down the news, and I get it. My opinions might offend the algorithm and the radical left and the liberals that are on TikTok. I understand that. Fine. I've come to the conclusion that I got to deal with that shit. But if, for me to mention, I mentioned nothing bad today. I gave props to John Fetterman, saying that he could potentially be the leader and the nominee of the Democratic Party in 2028. I don't know what I said. But the moment I said aliens, oh my God, the moment that I said aliens, it all went to shit. I got limited visibility for 10 minutes. Aliens. I'm talking. I'm making a joke, and I'm getting 10 minutes in the penalty box for talking about aliens. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. I'm sorry, man. Yo, TikTok. I love the people that tune in every single day to watch me. I love the moderators. I love everybody, even my biggest critics. I love you guys for tuning in. At the end of the day, this is fucking TikTok. You're horse shit here, man. What are you doing here? What the fuck? This is crazy. Y'all need to upgrade your AI system then. Shout out to TikTok. Shout out to Twitter. Shout out to Getter. By the way, I want to go ahead and showcase. Let me showcase where I'm at here with Getter. Look at this. Look at this. I'm right there. Popular shows, first in the row. Boom. This is beautiful. I do love everybody. I do wish everybody the best of luck. Whether they're trading crypto, trading in the traditional markets, politically speaking, I know we have our differences, but at the end of the day, I don't wish anybody bad luck or harm. That's crazy. I don't wish none of that for nobody. I only wish, the biggest thing for me, regardless of whether you like me or not, this is true statements. I want everybody to win. I really do. I really want everybody to win. I want you to come out winners when all's said and done. Will everybody win? No. But I want you to seize your opportunities. You live in the night. A lot of you, well, I don't want to say everybody tunes in from the United States of America because this brand is international, so I respect that. Shout out to everybody who's outside the United States. But at the end of the day, like I do hope that everybody wins out. Wherever you live, I hope you win. Whether you like me or not, doesn't matter. Does not matter. Just go out and win. And pray that if you live in the United States of America, whether you like Trump or not, pray for America to always win. Pray for America to always win. It's not complicated. Pray for America to always win. Okay, when Biden was in office or Obama was in office, I didn't pray for America to lose. I prayed for wins. Whether I agreed or not on whatever topic, I prayed for a win. This is our land. I love America. Why would I root against my country? It is crazy. You got to think for a second. Why would you can say things about, you can touch on things, you can criticize. That is your right. But to root against the United States of America, that is crazy. You need therapy. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in today. It is 2:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, March 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the breakdown, episode 686. We are about to hit 700 episodes officially. Unofficially, it's over 1,000. But officially, we're closing in on 700. I want to thank everybody who tunes into the show. I want to thank the moderating team, obviously on TikTok, Fran, and also Tech. Shout out to everybody on Twitter. I'm not calling it X anymore. By the way, the dislike button on Twitter is going to be absolutely horrific. It is the worst thing that you could have possibly put on the platform. That option, and Elon came out and said it's only for people that are premium plus subscribers. It doesn't matter. You put that dislike button there, it is horrific. You are allowing the trolls to weaponize themselves to go and cause havoc and damage good brands. So that, I mean, to me, that's terrible. Terrible move. Terrible move. But it is what it is. I don't run the ship. It's Elon's ship, and Elon can do what the fuck he wants. We just, but at the same time, we are the people that without us, you lose content, and you need content for your platform. So anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.